everyone, this is OCD Live. I'm Greymond, and the question I wanted to pick up today is what to do in the emergency situation when you're having a really bad day. Because I find that this is kind of the key question in the whole of OCD recovery. That, okay, so now you're in a bad situation, you're having a bad day, what do you do? Maybe you were doing reassurance yesterday, or avoidance, or you were doing compulsions, and now you're stuck in this situation. So what you can do to fix it? And the best thing you can do is to refocus your mind. Because right now your mind is very much focused on this type of situation. So whatever you were worried about, that is the main focus of your mind right now. So what you need to do is switch it to something else. So switch it from what you were thinking to a project that you like, or call somebody, or go somewhere. Don't sit and worry about this. That is the absolute worst you can do to recover, is sit and worry and complain about this. Because the more you do this, the worse you will feel, because your mind has no other stimulation. It doesn't have anything else coming in, because you've kind of separated yourself from the entire world, either physically or just maybe mentally, where your whole being is focused on this thought. And you're stuck in a situation where on one side you can't stop thinking about it, and on the other side you know realistically that you will never be able to fully solve it. So since you will never be able to fully solve it, the only thing you can do is let go of it. That is the only really solution you have. So you can either let go of it now, or wait a little while and let go of it later. But letting go of it later is not really productive, because, you know, what's the point of you suffering for a little longer and, you know, putting yourself through it just to let go of it eventually anyways. So start acting now as if you are already over this thought. So whatever thought you have, and by the way, guys, we're talking about what to do in an emergency situation for OCD. So if you are having a really hard time with this thought, already start acting like you're not. I know you're faking it. I know you feel like a fraud, and you feel like just like you're faking it, really, right? So, but you don't. It doesn't really matter how you feel. The most important thing that matters is what you are doing, because your mind is sending you those feelings. That your mind thinks it's real. That part of the brain, the amygdala, it thinks it's real because you've taught it that it's real by, you know, repeatedly acknowledging the topic and trying to solve it on all of this. So it came to the conclusion, based on your effort that you're putting into the topic, that it's real. So now it's sending you feelings as if it is real, and if you're starting to act as if it's not, then it's sending you feelings that, like, you know, you're not doing the right thing, you're a fraud, all of that, you know. So keep going through those feelings. It doesn't matter. Just act as if you've already gotten over it. So go places, do things, start living your life as if you don't have OCD. Your brain will see that and will follow you. Because there's no point in, you know, keeping this thought going for a day or two. Say, for example, you're worried about say you're worried about a specific situation. What if something? You know that logically, you know, there's very little chance that you will solve it. So there's no point in waiting. There's no point in putting yourself through it, trying to analyze, trying to rationalize, because you're doing two bad things here. First of all, you're keeping your obsession going, which is, you know, doesn't feel good, right? While you can let go of it now rather than a week from now or 2 days from now or whatever. So that's one. And the second is that you're making a lot more damage in the long term to your OCD recovery, because instead of recovering and saying to your mind that this is not true, I'm not paying attention, you're saying it is true, I am paying attention. So you're digging yourself deeper in rather than digging yourself out. So really try, and I know, you know, as somebody who had OCD, I know how bad it is. But you just have to be really focused on this thing and then on the recovery, and really try to get away from these thoughts. If your thoughts are more abstract in nature, meaning that they're more of a life dilemmas where you're thinking, well, am I a good person, or what if this happens, or what if that happens, and they're more kind of not about a particular situation, but are in more abstract and more about the future. But you can treat them the same way and say, when I become a bad person, when there's actually proof of that, then we will deal with it. Or when something happens in the future, then we will deal with it. But now we're choosing not to deal with it. And again, going on as if that is not true, as if the situation is not real, as if this thought never came into your head. You know? And just going about like that. And I'll guarantee you that you will feel better. The worst thing you can do on a bad day is to treat OCD as if it's real, really paying attention to it, really trying to solve it, not going anywhere, not doing anything. Just you getting out of the house is very critical, because if you're, or, at least out of your room if you can, right? So going, seeing things, because it gives your mind something else to focus on, and then your mind will start to slowly let go of this thought emotionally, because it's the emotional attachment that stops you from logically understanding what is happening. So the more attached you are to this emotionally, the worse you're going to feel about it. So the trick is, go through the situation, but don't feel the situation, because you're going to feel it anyway. So you have to accept that you are going to feel the thoughts and all of this, but don't get attached to it. Have it, I always say to my clients, the thought has to go in one ear and out the other, just like this. You shouldn't be interrupting it between the ears and saying, oh, this is bad, let me think some more about it. Have it flow, because you can't really prevent it from flowing anyway, so there's no point in even trying. Have it flow. If you're not stopping it, it will stop flowing on its own, because you're not engaging it. Because your mind is not going to keep sending you irrelevant thought. The only reason why it's sending it is because it thinks it's relevant, because you keep catching the thought. If you stop catching it, it's going to understand, okay, this person is not paying attention to it, that means it's not relevant, that means I should stop sending it, and it will replace it with another important thought that it will send. And if that thought is a real thought that is important to you, good, then engage that one. If it's another OCD thought, don't engage it again, so you're waiting for the next one again. And just going through this like this. And this kind of stuff works in OCD, and it works in life as well, where if you have a thought like this in life, right, that you don't like, or that you don't want to pay attention to, again, the same thing. I'm not catching it, I'm not paying attention to it, I'm letting go, and I'm moving on. And I find that once you do this technique enough, you start to get only the thoughts that you want. And it's so important, just in general life, that you have perfect control of your mind and of the type of thoughts you are getting. Because it puts you in the right mood, it puts you in the right frame of mind, you start to gain full control that most people don't have. And I find that that's a huge benefit, if you could call it a benefit, when it comes to having OCD and recovering from OCD. Because most people don't have to train themselves this way. But since you are already in a situation of OCD, you can use it to your advantage. And, even though you feel like you're not living as fully right now probably as other people, because that's how most people with OCD feel, that they wish they were like everybody else, you're going to be better than them, if you could say that, right? That, it's not really, ego thing, but you will be better equipped, I guess is the right way to say it, than most people, because you can control your mind. So you're not getting these thoughts, you're not getting depressed or sad or anything like that, because okay, this is not relevant to my life, or I'm choosing not to engage in it, and I'm moving on. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So, and just keep going about like that. And, like I said, the worst thing you can do is to actively focus on this thought. And the best thing you can do is to keep your mind away from this thought. So I don't really have any other questions for today. If you guys have a question, please feel free to ask. If not, we can end it here and we can pick it up again tomorrow. So yeah, just let me know. Okay, so I guess there's no more questions today. If you guys have a question that you forgot to ask me, you can always put it into the info@youhaveocd.com and I'll answer it through there. Just make sure when you ask me, you let me know if it's something I can say on the show live, or if it's something that you just want to know privately. And yeah, I will definitely reply to you. And also you can visit youhaveocd.com for all of the information. I have my recovery program, which is one-on-one with me, or I have the ebooks, and I have a lot of free material there as well. So please check it out. Okay, so thank you guys for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.